Greetings, everyone. Excuse me. So tonight I wanted to talk about NARC bully degradation. And you can call him a bully. You can call him a narcissist. You can call him entitled. You could call him an asshole. You can call him a controller. You could also see it in what we call toxic work environment. If you can relate, throw your hands up in the air. And of course, you have narcissists that are more on the quiet side. But it's been, in my experience, no matter if you have a more grandiose, brazen, like it could be a YouTube influencer, you know, look at me, look at me, look at me, more grandiose, or somatic narcissist, which is just obsession with the body. The thing that they have in common, whether it is more of a covert narcissist, or I think covert narcissist is also known as a vulnerable narcissist, the more timid, quiet narcissist. In my life experience, they never, ever miss an opportunity to put you down. Ever. They could do it in a subtle way. They can also put you down or make you feel bad about yourself through gaslighting. Like, let's say we're going to use a highfalutin, really good-looking, grandiose, somatic narcissist. She knows that her husband has put on a few pounds because she's been feeding him really caloric meals all the time. And they haven't been getting to the gym, or he hasn't. Just to put a knife in his heart or make him feel bad about himself, she's going to set his clothes out for the next day, or maybe she did the laundry, and she's going to make sure that she sets out pants that she knows he can't fit into. Or she might even say it like, hey, you should wear those black pants, you know, the ones with the little gray stripes in them, or, you know, whatever it is. That won't even seem like... Sorry, I have a popcorn husk in my throat. I could not hold myself from eating this popcorn. Dill. So, it's always to make a person feel bad about themselves. And this includes children as well. They will never, ever, ever pass an opportunity to degrade you, to put you down. I mean, you have the more obvious name calling. You know, you have the really, really nasty, cutthroat name calling. I usually don't participate in that. I mean, someone would have to make me extremely angry for me to use certain words, but and if they're a little more on the intellectual side, they might be smart enough to put you down in a way that seems nice. Like, honey, I know you just got finished with your breast cancer treatment and everything. But that, I can't talk. But that would be awesome if you could wear that dress that I got you last year. You know, the dress that your narcissistic husband bought you when you were very voluptuous. And he knows it's going to hurt you. That was an easy example. I believe gaslighting really is intertwined with this. Because, and the last 6 years, anybody have the radar up, for the last 6 years? But gaslighting will, I think the word, what I'm looking for is unstable. Like, it will interfere with your stability, like your mental fortitude, your mental stability. Because it's again, cognitive dissonance. It's there to really confuse you. And when you're around these folks, and I always say it over and over and over, it's so easy to be under their control because they're, especially the more skilled ones, are going at you left and right, back and forth from all angles. And you don't know what's going on from moment to moment because they're they're literally attacking you, but they're utilizing so many different tactics to make you feel unstable, to make you feel crazy, which is going to solidify what they're saying, that you're mentally unstable or whatever it is they're saying about you. Putting you down, you're fat, you don't look like you did when I married you, because that's 15 years ago, or it's always going to be something to make you feel lesser than. Or I think there's like two different terms for this. I don't know if I fully understand negging, but negging reminded me of the backhanded compliment. Like, that's really great that you got your bachelor degree and all in social work, but what are you going to do with that stupid degree? Or what would make you think social work's a great career? Or it's always going to be a jab. I remember so many years of my life, it was just like I was surrounded by this. And I would just think I felt uncomfortable, but it took me many years to figure out that these are manipulation tactics. They are going to use something that you love against you. Like I'll use myself. I love to sing. I'm, a decent singer. I'm not, top of the line, but I'm decent. They're going to say, oh, you can't sing. Despite the fact that your whole entire life people have been telling you you're a good singer, you have an amazing range, and all these things. They have to chip away at your self-esteem. Because inside they don't feel good about themselves. So in order for them to raise themselves above other people, especially family members or so-called girlfriends, boyfriends, friends, If you ever get around what a person might call like a really charismatic person, and all the eyes are on them, of course, because, you know, they'll start saying like really weird things. And then, like, say you have a room full of people, like maybe co-workers, or it could be family members, or even like a group of like friends that you all have something in common, college friends, whatever. And they'll say weird things that are inappropriate, and everyone will get uncomfortable. And they don't always know, like the people don't always know exactly what's going on with these statements, but they know that it's like not right. Like, let's say there's a husband that wants to make his wife feel really shitty about herself. He'll say something like, I'm trying to think of like an example, like in front of a whole bunch of people, which is boundary issue as well. He might say like, yeah, I bought my wife this new nightgown for her birthday. And she wears it so much that it's like fraying around the sides, and I think it needs a good wash. You know, something weird like that. I didn't think of the best example, but something really inappropriate that like is not suited for a bunch of strangers that don't know his wife. Something that took me a really long time to understand is a dog whistle too. The dog whistle is, you know how like if you use a dog whistle, like dogs are able to hear higher tones than humans. And you can buy a whistle that only dogs can hear. So when a narcissist or a bully, whatever you want to call them, wants to make his spouse feel really bad, he's going to bring up something that when they're in the house or at home, he's always making her feel really inadequate and bad about it. Constantly yelling at her, telling her she's an idiot, or he might say something like, and he might even make it sound like he's really proud of his wife, but he really isn't. He'll say, oh yeah, my wife started taking these freshman courses over at El Paso Community College, and you know, she's never home anymore, or something like that. Like he's never, like a husband that really cared about his wife and wanted to see her do better in life or get a career that she enjoys. A good husband is going to support that. But instead, number one, boundary issue, because he's telling everyone else in the crowd about it. Now he's going to make her feel bad for trying to better herself and go to college and get a degree, because we can't have that, you know. I mean, I don't know if that's completely a dog whistle, but they'll say something that only you and the narcissist know a lot about. Like, let's say, for example, he's every night when she comes home from her class, because she takes him at night, he's just ripping her, telling her she's an idiot. Like, how the fuck does she think she's going to do something in life? You know, oh, you're better than me now that you go to school, or, you know, whatever it is. Or let's say they have kids. He's going to say, you should be with the kids, or, you know, whatever it is. They never ever miss an opportunity to put you down. Say you did something that to most people would be considered you being a kind, caring, compassionate human being. Like when your dad was sick with cancer, you did your best to try to help him with, different tasks or organize the house, or which if you've got a parent that was good to you, that's what you should do. Everyone else will notice this and say, what a good person you are because, you have good heart and your dad really appreciates it. The narcissist is going to make that a bad thing. They're going to try to instill shame and guilt in you because they live with shame every single day of their life. They never feel good enough. I'll use like an example of a woman who is constantly going and getting plastic surgery over and over and over, teeth whitening like nonstop. That's not a person that has good self-esteem. That's a person that does not love themselves fully. So it and again, we all know what they do with the holidays. Oh, they love to ruin a holiday. Oh my gosh. But again, I wanted to talk more so about the degradation. And also too, if you're just meeting a person and you're just kind of hanging out or whatever, or a girlfriend, you're dating someone, whatever it is, if they're your professor, however you know this person, if everything out of their mouth is putting someone down, it should really make you wonder about them. And we all get irritated with people, or we might not like someone. I don't do politics, so I'm not even going to go down that road. But, I mean, honestly, that could be used as an example as well. But I think it wouldn't be like a person putting like a president or a presidential candidate or whatever down. It would be someone who is putting everybody and their brother down. Oh, that stupid barista doesn't even know how to get my drink right. I come here all the time, but yet they can never get it right. They like to yell at dogs, love to abuse animals. And I believe the sadism is that's kind of a whole new story, but majority of narcissists that I knew did have some sadism in them because they love to hurt people. They're not like us. Anything that's healthy or natural or the right way of things, they will do the exact opposite every single time. You graduate college, you have friends of yours that congratulate you, you go out for dinner, you have a good time. They're going to do the opposite. They won't even be there at all for you. Or they'll tell you they have something really important to do, go paint their house or something stupid. I remember one narcissist that I was dealing with years ago. Yeah, it took me a while to wake up to all of it. But I'll tell you one thing. This is before everyone was talking about narcissism, which, to me, I say this over and over, how you treat people, that's who you are. But even before we were talking about narcissism all the time, anyone that's mean to people all the time, that's a sign of narcissism. But it doesn't even matter what label you put on it, because somewhere inside that's just not a good person. The playground bully that wanted to beat up all the other boys. I guess nowadays girls do this too. It's not a good person. And there are some people who are bullies as children, and they change their ways and they come back and they say they're sorry. So that's clearly not like a full-blown narcissist. But they love to embarrass you in front of other people. And they especially, what I notice too when I think back about it, they love to share intimate details about you because you shared it with them because you didn't know they were a psycho And they love to share this intimate information with everyone. And when they do it, you're just looking at them like just in shock, like you can't believe they just told everyone this stuff. Like, I don't know, I don't want to say what happened to me, but let's say you had some type of a medical thing going on. That was nobody else's business. Like you weren't there to tell them all about your medical issue because it was private. They will not waste any time at all telling the whole world about it. Especially if they know you don't want it out. And you'll feel so uncomfortable and embarrassed. Like it just feels so weird, cringy. They love to get you uncomfortable. They get off on it. Best advice I could give somebody when you're around people that are acting like this is no matter what they say or do to you, I mean, except in the case of violence, then that's a whole different story. If the person's violent, that's a whole different can of worms. You're going to need to do your best to get away from them. And I would say in a really clear emergency, if you're able to, if this is a possibility, just drive to a police station. I mean, not that stops all of them, but have a safety plan. There's a reason that domestic violence shelters always tell you to have a safety plan. But what I was going to say is, they love to keep you off kilter, to exhaust you, not allow you to get enough sleep. They like to control your food. I've been down that road. I've been down every road when it comes to these fools. They love to freaking control. They don't know what to do if they can't control you. They have to. It's some inadequacy, insecurity inside themselves. It makes them feel like they're so amazing when they control you. And I would say in a lot of these situations, let's say you go to a store and someone's really rude to you, or someone's trying to kind of get your goat. They're trying to bait you to make you rage out. I've seen it at workplaces. The best advice I could give anyone is just to remain as stoic as possible. I've dealt with criminals like that too. That was if they know that what they're doing is not affecting you, it will make them crawl. But, my advice that I give to anyone is just try to disengage. Just do not engage. I know there's situations where people still have to continue being around these folks, but gratefully in my life, I could just completely disengage and just bye, Yeah, and they know if you're good at establishing good boundaries for yourself, they know you're not going to be, one, an easy victim, or two, a victim at all. I mean, even if you go research into predators that like to physically and attack women, they want an easy mark. So, I mean, honestly, to me, it depends on the level of intellect that a narcissist is. And I mean, narcissists are like anybody else. They're all across the gamut because we're all different. I mean, we have a lot of similarities as humans, but there's all different kinds of narcs, But I've noticed that the more intellectual a person is, they can be better at manipulating because they've been doing it for a long time. And then your gut instinct is what should tell you Or I think intuition and gut instinct are a little bit different. To me, intuition is like your psychic abilities, like your spidey sense, the hair on your neck goes up. You get a nervous feeling in your stomach, that would definitely be gut. But you might feel off, like something doesn't feel right. Or you feel uncomfortable. Or someone is saying things that are inappropriate. You just have to go with how you feel. They might put you down because of your appearance. And we all know misogyny. A person cannot be a misogynist without being a narcissist. They can't exist on their own. They have to merge with each other. It just goes hand in hand. And I suppose if I really thought about it, it goes with a lot of things. But for one, being a con artist. But the more intellectual or the more manipulative person is, they'll study. They could be at your workplace and they're just watching what you do. And they have no boundaries. So, they're going to watch to see, do you make calls at work? Are you married? Do you have kids? Whatever it is, they're going to be collecting information. And then they'll start doing little weird things. Like maybe to get you in trouble with your boss. Or maybe they want to sleep with you. So you never know, they could cross all boundaries and try to triangulate you and your spouse. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff. But my experience with these kind of folks, I was thinking of one lady I met at a job, and I personally think she had a little bit of kind of like a psychopath. But they'll be overly nice, and it feels really fake. It feels fake. It doesn't feel right. And then they kind of gain your trust. I mean, a little bit of trust that you're giving out. And then, bam, now they're going to hit you. I might tell that story one day. When someone tried to get me fired. It like you guys, it was freaking effing crazy. And I got so much of that kind of thing from the various jobs that I was in. I mean, literally had a stalker. The cops had to be called. It was crazy. But, again, something inside of you might make them feel insecure. Or it could just be like a power trip that immediately they want to establish their dominance over you. They're going to collect a little bit of information, and the first opportunity that they have, they're going to rat on you at your job, or they're going to call your family member and say, I'm really worried. Oh, watch that one. Oh, I'm so worried about her. But it's always to establish the narrative that you're not too bright, or you're a whore, excuse my French, you're a whore, or you're not a good mother, or you're not a good employee. And the narrative has to be that they're smarter, they're better, and you're down here. I'm up here, you're down there. I'm up here, you're down there. Oh, I forgot. I was going to tell you guys. I had an interaction with this narcissist many years ago before I really knew what narcissism was. And I'm a fairly clean person. I just like things to be clean. My apartment's a little on the messy side now, but I like order. I really, really like order, and I like cleanliness. Even when I worked with elderly people, I make sure their place was as clean as I could get it. And one narcissist I was dealing with, now mind you, I want to add here, I was doing this person a favor by doing their dishes. I didn't have to do anything. I was just trying to be nice. And that's another thing too, with these kind of folks, be careful about being nice with them. Because it's that old saying, take an inch, take a mile, or whatever. You know, give a person an inch, they'll take a mile. That's what they'll do. So I did all the dishes for this person, which I didn't have to do. And then they're like, oh, well, you missed this spot. Like, what's wrong with you? And then they say my name. And constantly. I mean, like, it's crazy when I look back. I think I might do it just for my own research on myself and what I went through. Like, just to write down all the put downs and things that, you know, maybe a family member said, so-called friends, you know, the fake friends, workplaces that were at what I would call toxic. They have to establish that they're up here and you're down there. They're up here and you're down there. It's a constant thing, you know. And I've noticed too, when it comes to the put downs or the degradation, dismissiveness, that's a huge one. And when I say dismissiveness, anytime, and Dr. Ramani talks about this, don't give the narcissist good news, because they'll knock it down like immediately. So, or they'll just dismiss it, like, oh, not a big deal. But it's all about them establishing that they're going to dominate you. Of course, they don't say it. They're going to dominate you. They're going to control you. They're going to tell you what to do. They might put you on a budget. I've heard of situations in which a narcissistic relationship, the man wants to choose all the clothes for the woman and weighs her and chooses her hairstyle, all kinds of stuff. So yeah, I was gonna add that narcissists can degrade you or dismiss you by omission. I really want to look more deeply into this myself, you know, the inclusivity, the exclusivity, which, you know, cults do as well. But then, let's say you're dealing with a narcissist at work. You guys were kind of cool at first, and then they started getting really strange because they're jealous that your boss likes your work and not theirs, because that's just what they do. And they start secretly behind your back telling the boss things about you, which, number one, if you have a good boss, the boss is going to just cut that, you know, what do you call it, like, get that, I forgot what it's called, like, you just cut it off immediately. Get that in the nib, something like that. And the next thing you know, the meetings that you guys had weekly, like the manager and like 3 other employees in your department always have a meeting to kind of touch base with what you guys are planning, what projects you're working on. The next thing you know it, you're being omitted from these meetings. And to me, that was just like an easy example. But again, I'll bring up the holidays, like your graduation. Anytime it's about you, they're going to make sure that they make it about themselves. They love to ruin your holidays. Or even just in general. Maybe you wanted to go out to eat at a Mexican restaurant, have margaritas and salsa and guacamole and some what are those called? Enchiladas, whatever. And you've been looking forward to it. You've scheduled a little dinner with them for Friday night. And they'll make sure that at the very last minute, this is manipulation of time. They will make sure that at the very last minute, like maybe half hour before you go to meet them, that they cancel on you. And that's a whole time manipulation as well. But they so that's like omitting you from your celebration. But I made a rule for myself. If anyone ever does that to me again, I just go out and I do my own thing and I have a good time regardless. But so if inside of you, you don't want to be a part of the group, whether it's your workplace, whether it's family, whether it's a barbecue, whether it's, I don't know, a sewers club. If you get past that part inside of you that always wants to fit in and be a part of the group, these things won't affect you as much. But if you're still not past that, narcissists and people that enable them or flying monkeys, and I happen to believe a lot of flying monkeys are narcissists themselves, they love to omit you from things. So they'll make sure that they omit you from getting the awards. You know, like there's an award ceremony, they'll make sure you don't go to it. Families, they'll have Thanksgiving, they'll make sure that they either lie to you about where the Thanksgiving is or they change it at the last minute or whatever. It's always, and it's to disappoint you and make you feel bad, make you feel like you're not a good person, like you don't add up, you're not good enough, you're not smart enough, you're not pretty enough, whatever it is. I happen to think this goes on in schools and colleges a lot. In the majority of my professors were pretty decent. I had some really good ones. But there were like one or two, and this way before I understood what narcissism was. I mean, honestly, if we wanted to kind of minimize it, because you know the groups of people that are trying to minimize the word narcissism. But if we were going to try to make it more simple, just call it the assholeness. You know? And that means like an established pattern of being an asshole. Not somebody that had a bad day or were tired or hungry, or maybe somebody pushed them over the edge and they went off. You know, but that's not their norm. Again, it goes back to what I say. How you treat people is who you are. They have to degrade you. Just like that so-called fake friend of mine. And I had bad vibes about her, like, from day one. In retrospect, I would go with my gut instinct, my intuition told me to stay away from her. And then I was thinking about this the other day. She hoovered me back in the second time I saw her, trying to break my boundaries immediately. So, but as far as degradation, I was going through one of the most difficult, horrific things in my life. And she casually said, "Oh, I said to my relative, I should cut my breasts off." I mean, what do you do with that? And it didn't hit me until way later. Like, it was just like so horrible. It took me a while for it to kind of like sink in. I cut her off immediately. But because there's something internally, like inside of them, that doesn't feel good about themselves. And everybody's got insecurities. I think the majority of people do. I didn't have that much insecurity until I had this mastectomy, to be honest. I mean, I felt a little bit funny about what my body looked like, because, you know, I'm a woman, but I think all of us have a little bit of insecurity somewhere. And you got to work on self-love. The more you work on yourself, like authentically, not because there's a lot of fake self-love, self-worth out here. Trust me. The more you work on that, you'll be, I want to kind of say bulletproof, but I don't know if that's the word to use. But in some ways, you're going to be somewhat invincible to these kind of degraded, cruel, malicious, sadistic people. So this has gone on a while. I'm put this on my narcissism channel as well, and there's definitely going to be more coming. I want to get more into about boundaries. And something I discovered about someone who I thought cared about me and didn't. And I was thinking about my boundaries. So have a good day, night, wherever you are. Peace.